freedom, America, V8, and God, in that order. America! My name is Andy, and today we're gonna find out what your style of car says about you. Let's go. Now to kick things off, let's start with the economy car. If you drive an economy car, you are usually a sensible person, or you don't really give a shit about cars. You just need something to get you from A to B. And that's fair enough, I can't hate on that. Next up, we've got bottom tier German luxury cars. These are things such as bottom tier Mercedes, BMW, and Volkswagens. If you drive this, you're either daddy's little princess, your daddy's trust fund warrior, or you have just started out in the corporate world and you're just starting to earn some money, so you thought you'd buy a luxurious car. Turns out when you go to sell this car, it's worth absolutely nothing because every man and their dog has this car. Next up, we've got top tier German luxury cars. That is the high-end AMGs, the M car BMWs, things like that. If you drive this, you have graduated from the entry-level German car to the top tier, and now you get to enjoy the best that Germany has to offer. I can't hate on these cars. They're very well put together. They're a lot of fun, but they're a little bit unoriginal if you ask me, especially cars like Audi, where they're mostly just expensive.
You're boring everybody.
I tend to think that BMW and Mercedes have some better offerings. Just not the new M4 or M3. This hideous pig nose is no good. If you're an American muscle car driver or enthusiast, you believe in freedom, America, V8, and God, in that order. America! You don't listen to anyone about anything because you believe that your American-built LS V8 will destroy everything. Now I know that there is no replacement for American displacement, but there's a wonderful concept called forced induction, which you Americans will learn about soon. Next up, we've got Italian supercars, Ferrari and Lamborghini and the like. If you drive these cars, you generally want to show off. Now, I absolutely love Italian supercars. They're full of personality, they're wonderful cars, but there's that little bit of hint of kind of wanting to show off. And that's just the way it is. Japanese supercars are often thought of as different and quirky cars like the Lexus LFA, which is actually a good car, the new Honda NSX, which is tech-infested and very good, and the Nissan GTR, which is now old and needs to be retired.
Recently retired. You are retired.
You bought this car on the basis of two things. You got a lot of performance for a very good price, or you want to be different than everybody else. But in doing so, you actually bought a car that absolutely everyone wants to own. Now, if you drive a convertible, you love to hear the sound of your engine, you like the wind in your hair, and you're also a little bit of a pretentious dick. Especially those people who drive around in BMW, Mercedes, or Audi convertibles with the roof down and the windows up. This is coming from me, a man who has owned many two-seater convertibles. You look like a pretentious wanker. That is all. Next up, we've got the modified JDM scene. This is anybody who buys a car like a Toyota 86, Subaru WRX, and modify it thinking that you are unique and special, when in fact it is a mass-produced car that absolutely everybody owns. When you roll into a car meet with your modified 86 to meet a bunch of other people who have also modified an 86, it doesn't make for very interesting conversation. Now, if you buy a French car like a Peugeot or a Citroen, generally speaking, you have pretty funky taste. Funky like gross old cheese, not funky as in 80s disco. French cars are generally pretty average, their build quality sucks and they woo you with fancy sounding advertisements, but you're actually buying a pretty rubbish car. There are some exceptions, but generally speaking, they're pretty trash. Now, if you drive a classic car, firstly, I commend you for keeping these old things alive, but secondly, buying a classic car is like buying an old piece of technology. You don't buy old TVs because you have to get up, bang them to change the channel, the signal goes fuzzy, and it's generally a shit experience. In truth, classic car ownership is pretty much the same thing. Your whole personality is based on your classic car, but that's okay, because we want to see these classics stay around for the future.